Hi, I'm Doug Reynolds, a realtor with Prudential in Sacramento, California, and welcome to my either blog or website. And this is your video update for the end of January, beginning of February 2010. So welcome. Let's get started. First off, hope everyone's having a good start to the new year here. And let's get started in terms of the statistics for, these are for December for Sacramento County. Starting to feel a little bit like a broken record here. It's been just more of the same. Basically, the median price has just been trickling up over the last year that I've been telling you about. We went from 187,000 to 187,500 as the median price in December. So just a tiny little tick up there, just kind of what we've been seeing over the last months. It's just sort of bumping its way up a little bit. Same thing with inventory, still low. We're at 3.3 months worth of inventory, so we've talked about that. That's still traditionally considered a seller's market, as we're seeing reflected with multiple offers, houses selling over list price. You know, we've gone over all this the last couple of months. And a surprising thing was our sales actually, we had been solid, but they was actually finished really strong in December with over 1,600 sales for the county. So had a really strong finish to the year. Traditionally, sales slow down a little bit in the winter months, December, January, February. So I expect probably January, February might be a little bit lower in terms of sales volume. Well, we'll continue to see though the low inventory, median price still trickling up, as well as multiple offers. We're going to continue to see that through the first half of this year. A couple of reasons. We've talked about the tax credit. Now remember, there's two ways of it now. There's either for the first-time home buyer or for the move-up buyer. For the move-up buyer, you have to have lived in the home for 5 consecutive years out of the last 8 years. Okay? And if you fit under that criteria, and there's some other income limits and everything else, you can get the $6,500. The first-time home buyer credit, that's up to $8,000. Okay, so you have to be in contract, meaning a seller has to accept and sign the contract by the end of April 2010. Okay? Then not only that, you have to have the signed contract by then, but you have to close escrow by the end of June in order to get the credit. Okay? Another reason why the market is going to continue at least through the first half the way it is with multiple offers and low inventory. Interest rates are expected to stay where they're at, around 5% or so for the first half of the year. But it's expected across the industry for interest rates to start going up the second half of the year. One of the major reasons is the government has been buying mortgage-backed securities, and that's been kind of artificially keeping the interest rates real low. Well, that program is expiring in the first half of the year here, and so interest rates are expected to start going up. So at least for the first half of the year, we'll continue to see more of the same. Let's talk about our next topic here. It has to do with FHA loans. Those are the federally backed loans, which a lot of buyers are using right now because it's a low entry, because you only have to put 3.5% down as your down payment. Majority of other loan programs, you're going to have to probably put up to about 20% to get conventional financing or something else. So a lot of buyers are going it with FHA. Well, in the past, they've had this rule. It's called the 90-day flip rule. At least that's the kind of term that's used for it. And what it means is that if you're a buyer and you have FHA financing you're going to be getting a house for, you cannot get into contract on a house that's been owned by the seller for less than 90 days. And you might say, well, why would someone be selling a house they've owned for less than 90 days? Well, we've talked about this before. A lot of flips are coming back into the market in Sacramento with investors. Investors have been watching the market. They now are buying up a lot of properties. And the real good investors, they go in, they clean up the property, they fix it up, they make it look real nice, and it's in good shape, good condition, and they've got it back on the market after 3 or 4 weeks of only owning the house. Well, before you were not allowed to write any FHA offers on that house. They haven't owned it for over 90 days. So this was causing a problem kind of in the Sacramento area because we did have a lot of investors, a lot of flips and everything going on. No FHA buyers could go after those houses. Well, starting February 1st, they're temporary. FHA is temporarily waiving the 90-day flip rule for 1 year. So from February 1st, 2010 to February 1st, 2011 at least, the 90-day flip rule is not going to be in effect. So this is a lot of good news for the FHA buyers. It might be a little frustrating news for some of the conventional buyers because they had less competition on the houses that were being flipped because the FHA buyers couldn't buy it. Also, we've talked about this before. I'm saying 2010 and 2011, those are going to be the years of the short sale when we look back on this market. The last 2 years in Sacramento, they've been all about bank-owned REO properties. 2010 and 2011, they're going to be all about the short sale here. Major reason being is that we've bottomed out in the market. The banks have finally got their infrastructure in order now to where they actually can be making decisions on the short sales and make them a little bit quicker than they've been making them, because they know in most cases it's actually better for them to allow the short sale rather than to foreclose. It ends up costing them more money. So they've got the infrastructure and the banks to actually get these short sales approved more, as well as the Obama administration is really pushing the banks to be allowing short sales more than foreclosures. So one thing that I did, I think this is a major important thing. If you or someone you know is thinking about selling their house in a short sale, it is extremely important. The National Association of Realtors, they have designations where you actually have to take courses and pass tests. They came out with a short sale certification. Okay, it's called SFR. And if you're thinking about listing your property or someone else as a short sale, make sure you talk to someone that has one of these, okay? They need to have a short sale foreclosure resource specialist certification, okay? It's called SFR, okay? So you can see that I felt it was important. I went out, I got the certification. So if you or anyone else you know needs to do a short sale, I've got that certification, I've got the training, I've got the experience to get the short sales done. But you know, at least talk to someone that has that, okay? That's really important because the short sales, they're not easy. You need to know what you're doing, but they're going to start getting a little bit better, okay? Lastly, just want to remind you, continuously be checking my blog. You can get to the link on it from my website, buywithdoug.com. Go to my blog. It's usually updated at least 5 times a week, as well as I now have a business page on Facebook. So you can become a fan, join me on Facebook, multiple posts a day and everything. I'd love to have you as a fan on Facebook, so check that out. Other than that, feel free to either give me a call or an email anytime if you have any questions. If you're a buyer looking to get a house, I can get you in contact with some great lenders, as well as if you're a seller, we can get your house on the market here soon so we can get in before that tax credit expires so we can still have a lot of buyer activity on your house. So would love to talk to you soon. Feel free to call or email, and clear skies.